quickly, I mean fast with an EIN. I mean, we're talking about real business credit, the stuff that's linked to your EIN, not your social. We're talking about real business credit that doesn't require a personal guarantee or a personal credit check for approval. And hopefully I can clear my throat so you can hear me during this training. So today I'm going to actually teach you about the newest and best way to be able to build business credit for your EIN. Credit that doesn't require a personal guarantee, credit that doesn't require a personal credit check. Basically, this is the kind of credit where your business can fund itself. So what I mean by that is that when we look at normal funding you get for your business, it requires personal credit to qualify. It requires cash flow to qualify. It requires collateral to qualify. Business credit requires none of that. I call business credit a catch-all because any business can get it. No matter what your situation is, even if you just launch your business today, you are able to get business credit. But even if you do qualify for other kind of financing, business credit's invaluable because business credit's the key to getting more approvals, more loan approvals, more credit line, credit card approvals. Business credit's the key to getting the lowest interest rate. Business credit's the key to getting the most amount of money. So if you're looking to get the most amount of money at the best terms, business credit really is the key to get it. But look, as good as business credit is, there's a lot of really bad information online about how to actually build business credit. What happens is these people that are trying to kind of build influence on a social platform will realize that the term business credit is a catchphrase. And when they realize that, they start doing all these training videos on business credit. But what they're talking about is BS. It is not true business credit. It's what I call fake business credit. What I mean by that is that anybody can tell you how to go out and get a credit card or 0% rate. You've got to have 750 credit scores. But that's not real business credit. What we're going to talk about today is how to get the real stuff, the good stuff, the stuff that doesn't require collateral, doesn't require cash flow, that you can get as a startup, you can get if you have bad credit, you can get if you can't get other kind of financing. And in getting it, it will also make you more lendable, it will help you get more money at better terms. So how do you build business credit fast? Here's the exact steps to do it. The first thing you need to do is stop getting denied. The reason people run into delays when trying to build business credit is because they keep getting denied. You see, normal business owners that go through this process without what I'm about to teach you here, this is what happens. They learn about business credit. They follow some steps. They go apply, they get denied. Then maybe once out of every 3 or 5 times they apply, they get approved. And they think they're making progress because of that one approval. But then they get denied. And all these denials is what takes up about 70% of the time wasted in business credit building. So if you want to build business credit fast, then the key is you have to stop getting denied. You've got to stop what's getting the credit card issuers to deny you. And when you do that, then the process becomes quick because all you're getting is approvals. You're applying for what you need and you're just getting approved. Now, by the way, if you're just coming in, tell me your company name. I'm going to give you a shout out right here on the live stream and get you a ton of exposure. So how do we stop you from getting denied for loans, credit lines, and credit cards? Well, the process here is to look credible in a credit issuer's eyes. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have them see your business as a business that they want to give money to. Now, when you do that, then what happens is you get automated approvals when you apply. You start getting pre-screened offers where lenders and credit issuers start sending you notices telling you you're pre-approved. They want you to apply. You stop chasing them, they start chasing you. So what do they look at as a credible business? Well, there's a lot of things. There's about 120 factors, but for the sake of this conversation, we're just going to talk about a basic handful that have to do with your foundation. Let's look at the biggest reasons you will get denied, and let's fix those. So we stop the biggest thing that accounts for denials. The biggest reason that you will get denied for credit and financing and perfect special gifts. Dave is in the house. Thanks for coming in. If you're just coming in, give me your company name and I'm going to give you a shout out right here on the live stream. The number one reason for getting denied. Rarely does anybody get this right. I don't know if anybody I've ever asked this question to has gotten this right. The number one reason that you get denied for credit and financing is that the lender thinks that you and your business are a fraud. They think the application itself is fraudulent. They don't think the business that's applying really exists. So what causes, and by the way, this is over half of the time. Over half of denials are basically accounted for based on this one factor. So why do they think that you're not real? Because what they're doing is a series of checks to cross-check your application data with all the other data they have. Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian, LexisNexis. And when they see discrepancies, it throws up fraud alerts in their systems. So what causes these discrepancies? Well, what you put on the application doesn't match everywhere else your business is listed. The number one thing you should do right now, while you're listening to me, is go to your Secretary of State. If you don't know your Secretary of State, then type in Secretary of State, Florida, whatever state you're in. Go there and do a search for your business. Pull up the business, pull up what your correct credentials and match them up. Is everything you see there the same? It oftentimes isn't. 90% of the time, I find that business owners, it is not the same. And here's why. Because you probably went and set up your Secretary of State record before you had your permanent address, before you had your permanent email, before you had your permanent phone number. Then that stuff all changed and it was never updated per Secretary of State. I know you may be thinking, well, that doesn't apply to me. Yeah, it does. 9 out of 10 of you right now, this is you. Even though people come to me and say, I'm fine, we look and we're like, you're not fine. Look, this is what's causing you to get denied. It's a simple fix that takes seconds or minutes to do, and yet it turns around 50% of the denials that are taking place. So go to your Secretary of State right now. Make sure the information is 100% consistent with what you're putting on the application. Name of the business, address, spelling of the name, address, phone number, email, whatever's there needs to match and be exactly the same. Next check. Everywhere else your business is listed online. Google your business. Quote, business name, unquote. Where do you find your business? Are there citations about your business out there? Are there yellow page listings? Is your social media pages out there? Every single place your business is listed, you should really be checking to make sure that all of the information is congruent and the same. If you don't want to manually do this, Credit Suite, we've been around a long time, right? So there's a lot of results for us. I don't know. My personal search, there's 2 million results, right? So if you look at Credit Suite, there's a lot of searches. So you can use a service called Yext, Y-E-X-T. And Yext, you can put your information in once and it sends it everywhere else online for you. It saves you time. However you do it, you got to make sure that the information online is all congruent. It's all the same as what's on the application. If you do that one thing, it prevents about 90% of the denials that take place. Okay, and Travis says, hey, I have 9 trade lines that expired and 6 on DB. Can't seem to get approved for an auto loan. We'll talk about that, Travis. I'll talk to you about exactly what's causing it. It's in these steps I'm walking through right now. Troy's in from IFS LLC. What's up? And Travis says, my LLC is 15 years old. Everything matches. Okay, perfect. All right, so the number one reason you're going to get denied, they think it's fraud. And Travis, this may apply to you. So if you're trying to get auto financing, one of the first things you should be doing in Travis's case is you should make sure that everything matches, everything is consistent. Now, if you've done this, you got to make sure all your foundational aspects are set up correctly. Here's what to look for. Okay, your address, business address, not home address. Not P.O. Box, not UPS, not iPostal. You do not ever want to use a postal box, ever. You want to use a real physical address for your business. Now, if you're a home-based business and you don't work out of an office or a location, then get a virtual office, not a virtual address. There's a difference. Virtual offices are provided by 3 credible sources: Alliance, DaVinci, and Regus. If you are not getting an address from Alliance, DaVinci, or Regus, you more than likely are getting a P.O. box, not an address. Virtual offices typically are like $50 to $100 a month. A virtual address, like a post office box, is about $10 or $15 a month. So if you're paying for an address right now and it's $10, $15 a month, you probably have a virtual address, not a virtual office. You need a virtual office: Alliance, DaVinci, Regus. Now, you can use a home address as last resort, but you need to know some sources will deny you just because you're using a home address. Walmart is one. Walmart will never approve you for a corporate credit card with a home address. They won't do it. Amazon will. Walmart won't. That is the way this works, is if your credibility is off, some sources will approve you, some will deny you. And that's why you think you're okay, because you get that approval thrown in the mix with all these denials. But I'm telling you, you've got to make sure these things for your foundation are set up right to start getting approvals and stop those denials. Address, real location. Phone number, business phone number, voice over IP, cannot be mobile phone, cannot be home phone, cannot be a Google phone number. I don't know why. I just know we see a ton of denials with Google phone numbers. We tell our clients, do not do it. So get a voice over IP, Freedom Voice, Ring Central, for example. These are good phone services. The best we've ever found for our clients is Ring Central. Credit issuers love that. Next, get a professional email address for your business, info@yourcompanyname.com. Your domain and your email should be consistent. My email, info@creditsuite.com. My domain, creditsuite.com. They're the same. Your domain really should be yourcompanyname.com. Okay, you lose a lot of credibility if your domain isn't yourcompanyname.com. So get yourcompanyname.com and info@yourcompanyname.com. Okay, that is important to put on applications. Have a website up. Make sure that the website reflects what you do. Their crawlers should be able to look at your website and know what you do. Speaking of what you do, you should go to NAICS.com, NAICS. You should look up and know what your NAICS code is. Then you should do another search, high risk NAICS code, and make sure that your business name and your NAICS code does not reflect that you're in a high risk industry. NAICS.com has a list. Your Credit Suite you'll find has a list. Check your business and your business name against these industries and make sure that you are not high risk. What if you are? Think about another industry that reflects what you do that might not be high risk. Using Credit Suite as an example, financial services, high risk. Software, not high risk. We are a software company because software is not high risk. So a lot of times what you do could be 1, 2, 3, 4 different NAICS codes. So choose the one that is low risk by doing a search of low risk NAICS codes. That will help you find an industry that reflects that you are not high risk. Okay, now let me see. Get a Bay 100% complex rental property, no money down. For revenue is 24 units rental. Eugene, I will talk about that as well. Bring the heat. Paul loves it. Okay. So, and I think, let me read Eugene's comment again. Get a Bay 100% complex rental property, no money down. That's possible, Eugene, a little off topic, but it is possible to do that. Here's how you would do it. You basically consider, for example, an actual investment loan, like a DSCR loan, which would cover 90% of the purchase price. Then the 10% you could get from a seller-held note or another kind of financing like credit line hybrid. Credit line hybrid to cover 10% down, and a type of financing like DSCR to get the other 90%. That's a way to get to where Eugene is going. Okay, so foundation. Right now we've got an address for our business, a real business address. We've got a real business phone number. Okay, we want to get that phone number listed on 411 and any directories we can find. We want to make sure that anybody looking online can find our phone number. So directories, 411, great places to list that. Now we have a website set up, reflects what we do. We have a professional email address. The next step, you've got to make sure you have an entity set up, preferably an LLC or a corporation, and you need an EIN number. You can't build business credit without a guarantee, without an EIN. So you've got to have that EIN number set up. Now, two extra steps you should take. Have a business bank account set up. Not a personal bank account, a business bank account. Super simple, easy to do. $25, $50 deposits, all it takes. Have the business bank account. And this is something you won't hear about, but it's advice I've learned by helping 50,000 business owners through this process. You should get a license for your business. Even though it's not required, get a license. And when you apply, submit the license with the application. Look, I'm going to teach you about starter vendors today that will give you $2,500 credit lines just because you have a license. So get a business license. How do you get one? Go to your county. If you go to Google and type in your county, and I'm in Hillsborough County, I'm in downtown Tampa. So if I type in Hillsborough County business license, then it will pull up a license I can get in my county. It's usually $50, $70. And it shows the state of Florida and my county that I'm a real operating business. If you're filing state taxes anyways, they already know that. But this is a way to solidify your business as legitimate. And that business license goes a long way to helping you start get approvals. Now you're set. You have a strong foundation. Now, heed my warning. If you ignored any of what I just told you, which you did, you're going to get denied. You're not going to get denied all the time. You're going to get denied more times than you should. So if you did everything I told you, then you would not be getting denied. You're getting denied typically for two reasons. You don't have enough accounts on your business credit report to get the credit you're applying for, or you did not follow my formula for foundation. Those two things account for 99% of your credit card denials. And remember, the topic today is not building business credit. It's building business credit fast. If we want to build it fast, we have to stop denials. What I just told you is how you stop denials. Now, if you want help with this, go to creditsuite.com/foundation. We have a 100% free mini course that teaches you everything that you need to know. Here it is, creditsuite.com/foundation. Scan the QR code, go to the link or scan, whichever is easier. This is a mini course, 100% free, that teaches you more of the foundational things you should know to stop those denials. So now we've stopped denials. Now we've given the credit issuers the credibility that we want them to see to be able to actually approve us. Now we move to the next step. We need to get initial credit. We've got to get credit that reports on our business credit reports, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. And here's how we do it. There's two ways. Number one, we apply for what are called starter vendors. Starter vendors are called starter vendors for a reason. They will give you credit if you have no other credit on your credit report. These vendors also report the credit they give you to the business credit reporting agencies. Very, very important here. 9 out of 10 accounts that will issue you credit for your business, 9 out of 10, do not report to the business credit reporting agencies. Okay, it's a huge problem. As a matter of fact, I was talking to 4 people from Dun & Bradstreet yesterday at a conference call about this same thing. Okay, I'm feeding business owners to them to get them the ability to report because it's not easy to report credit to a reporting agency. 9 out of 10 accounts that you actually get credit with don't report the credit to the reporting agency. So you have to get credit with a credit reporting agency that reports to Equifax, Experian, or Dun & Bradstreet. The more they report to, the better. And I'll tell you exactly why in a matter of minutes. So first step, you got to get credit with starter vendors. Some that I'm loving right now include Granger, who will give you a $2,500 credit line just because your foundation is set up, as I told you, and you have a business license. Uline, one of my all-time favorites. I've been talking about Uline since I wrote the best-selling book on this topic 12 years ago. Okay, I also like Office Garner for office supplies. Office Garner is a really strong vendor to help build business credit right now. And you can also go through CEO Creative. That is another one that is working really well right now. So those are some starter vendors that will help you start building business credit. You're going to want about 5 of these starter vendors. You're going to go and apply for them. If your foundation is set up right, you're going to get approved. They're going to give you a credit line to buy their stuff. You're going to go and buy their stuff, buy a little bit of stuff from those vendors. You're going to use the credit line. You're going to buy it. You're going to then pay the bill as early as they will let you pay it after the item ships. You can't pay it before the stuff ships or it won't count as credit. It will count as cash. As soon as they let you pay that account after the item ships, you pay the account. Your business credit scores, your main ones like Paydex, are 100% based on how you pay. 100%. So all you have to do to get good scores is get accounts that report and pay your bills. That's all that's required with them. So make sure you're paying your bills on time or early. Okay. And Matt says, I have a question for you, and then types question. So Matt, type in the question and I'll make sure it gets addressed. And by the way, if you're just coming in, then tell me where you're coming in from. Give me your company name and I'll give you a shout out right here. Okay. So now we've set up our foundation correctly. We've got 2 ways to build initial business credit. Starter vendors. I gave you some. If you want more, go to creditsuite.com/EIN or scan this QR code. It's our step-by-step business credit building guide. It has even more vendors that will help you. Now, the second way to build initial business credit is through a program called Credit Line Hybrid. Now, Credit Line Hybrid is a program where you can actually get credit lines even as a brand new startup business. You can get $50, $100, $150,000 in credit lines for your business using this program. Now, Credit Line Hybrid is different than starter vendors, really a couple different ways. First of all, they give you high limit, real usable credit lines you can get right now, even as a startup. You can get 50, 100, 150,000 in financing, 0% rates, no doc, works for brand new businesses, okay? But here is the thing to keep in mind. The thing to keep in mind is that it requires good personal credit in order to actually get approved. So for Credit Line Hybrid, you need to have good credit to get approved. For starter vendors, your credit doesn't matter. There's no guarantee. There's no credit check. So you have two paths to go. The better, faster path, the fastest way to build business credit is using Credit Line Hybrid, but it may not work for you. You might not have good credit. You might not have a signer or a guarantor who's willing to sign that has good credit. And in that case, go to starter vendors. Okay, if you can't get Credit Line Hybrid, go to starter vendors. I've given you two paths to build your initial business credit profile and score. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. As part of setting up your foundation, you also need to have a DUNS number set up with Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet will not create a credit profile for you unless you actually have a DUNS number. So once you've done that foundational stuff, go get your DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet, then go to one of these two paths to build initial credit on your actual business credit reports and scores. Remember, we're getting credit. We're using the credit. We're paying the bill on time or early. That is the key. Now, again, going back to, I think, let me see who it was here that had that question initially. I think it was, okay, give me, I want to make sure this question is answered. Okay, I think it was, let me go back to the answer. I want to make sure this question is answered. It's Travis. Remember, I'm about to tell you the second reason you might not be able to get auto financing, the second problem you're running into. The first problem, Travis, you got to make sure that foundational stuff is set up. You got your DUNS number. You got to make sure that that stuff is set up exactly as I said. That's probably what's causing the denial. The second reason I'm going to go through in a minute. And Eric says, hey, since I've already have a business credit card for my credit union, would that allow me to get more funding from other vendors? My business name is Automotive Repair Technology. Eric, thank you for asking that question. So here is what I will tell you. Eric, it depends on if the credit card reports to a business credit reporting agencies. Remember what I said, 90%, over 9 out of 10 accounts that give you credit do not report to the business credit reporting agency. So what you should do, Eric, is you should go to Visa, MasterCard, and whoever gave you that credit card, call the phone number on the back and say, hey, who do you report this credit card to? Do you report it to consumer credit, business credit, which bureau? If they don't know the answer, call and ask for somebody else. Ask to speak to an underwriter. Ask to speak to a supervisor. Find out where they report. If they report to a business credit reporting agency, it will help you get more credit for your business without the guarantee or credit check. It will help you get credit from the other vendors. But if it doesn't report to the business credit reporting agencies, as 9 out of 10 don't, it will not help you. That is your answer to that. Okay, and Paul says, real financial and consulting. Thanks for coming in and tuning in from YouTube. So now we are on step 3. Step 1, we got that foundation built where we are credible. Step 2, we've got initial accounts on our business credit reports. We've got 5. And remember, as part of the foundation, we got our DUNS number, because in order for Dun & Bradstreet to create a credit profile for us, we need 2 things. 1, a DUNS number. 2, 3 accounts reporting to Dun & Bradstreet. If you're trying to build business credit with D&B and they're not giving you a credit profile, you do not have both of those. You might have one, you don't have the other. 3 accounts reporting to D&B and a DUNS number. You got to have both to build that initial credit profile and score with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Equifax and Experian will set up your credit profile if you only have 1 account reporting to them. So when you're getting your starter vendors, try to get at least 3 accounts report to D&B, 1 that reports to Experian Commercial, 1 that reports to Equifax Small Business. You got to make sure they're reporting to Equifax or Experian's business bureau, right? Not the consumer. So if we've done this, now we've got 5 accounts on our business credit reports. We've got credit with D&B, credit with Experian, credit with Equifax. Now we can move on to the next step of the business credit building process, which is to start getting like real usable credit with vendors. Some of this will be net terms, net 30, where we got 30 days to pay it off. Amazon, net 55, you got 55 days to pay off the balance. Some of it's revolving, like I pay a minimum payment towards the balance, right? And they let me pay over time, okay? But at this stage of the process, we are now able to start getting credit with vendors. Now, vendors is another name for like retailers. I call them retailers, but the actual term is called vendors. And what vendors do or retailers do is they give you credit to buy like their stuff. So an example here is that this is an HP monitor, right? This was purchased from HP. So I can get a credit line from HP, but I can only buy HP stuff with it. I can't buy Dell stuff. My computer is custom made from Dell. If I get a credit line with Dell, I cannot buy this HP monitor with it. So vendors sell what they sell in their store. Staples is a vendor. If they give you a credit line, you can only buy stuff at Staples. Office Depot, vendor, right? Sam's Club, Costco, Macy's, Nordstrom. Retailers are vendors. And at this stage of the process, by the way, 30 days in, I told you I was going to teach you how to do it fast. I am 30 days, I am 1 month into this process. And if you follow my steps so far, you're starting to get $5,000 to $10,000 credit lines at these vendors. Now, be careful. So many people try to build business credit and say, Ty said 5 steps. I'm on step 2. I want to get to step 3, step 4, step 5. We're entrepreneurs. Our brains work like we want to move to the next step. But this isn't about moving quickly to the next step. It's about getting credit you're really going to use to grow your business. That's what's important here. So if I want to start a vendor, I am going to go get Office Gardener because I'm in an office environment. Like I'm going to buy stuff I need from Office Gardener. Grainger sells outdoor supplies. I don't work outdoors. I need Office Gardener. I don't need Grainger. So I'm going to go get credit with the vendor I'm actually going to use to buy stuff, the vendor that sells stuff I really need. And then I'm going to actually buy stuff. I'm going to go buy stuff on that credit line, even if I can pay cash. If I can pay cash, even better. If I'm going to go buy a $1,000 computer from Best Buy, I'm going to go get a credit line with Best Buy, and I'm going to buy it on my Best Buy credit card, and then I'm just going to pay it off after they serve me up my statement. Okay, but I'm going to use business credit to buy every single thing I can buy, even if I pay it off quickly before interest accrues. There's a reason I'm doing it here. The reason I'm doing it is now I'm telling future credit issuers, look at me. I've got all this credit. I'm using all this credit at all these different places. If you give me credit, I'll use your credit too. Remember, they don't make money by issuing credit cards to people that don't use them. They make money by people using the credit cards and they can charge interest. Even if you're smart and you're paying it off before interest accrues, they're hoping that one day you're not going to pay it off before interest accrues and they'll start to charge you interest. So how you build business credit fast is you use the credit that you're given. And that does 2 things. It exponentially increases the probability that you'll get future approvals. And it also exponentially increases the amount of approvals that you get in the future. If I want a $10,000 approval card 2 months into this process, all I have to do is be spending $3,000, $4,000 a month on the credit I already have. If I'm doing that, my next credit card will probably have a $10,000 limit. Dell is notorious for giving $10,000 credit limits 2 months into this process. So the key here is to get 5 initial starter vendors that report. Use the credit they're giving you. Now I'm to this stage and I'm getting credit with real retailers, real vendors I'm going to use to build my business. And I'm actually using them. The more money I spend on those vendors, the higher my other future limits are going to be. So I want to get as many accounts as makes sense. I want to use them all. I want to put as much spending on there as I can and show a history of that. And that is going to shoot me super fast through the rest of this process. Because now what happens is now I go to get another credit card. Now I go to get a Marriott credit card, right? Because I'm at hotels all the time. And Marriott goes, what? Pulls up my business credit report. They see 12 accounts on there. They see all kinds of recent usage. They see the highest amount I used last month on this credit card was $4,000 and $3,000 here and $2,000 here, $7,000 here. And they're like, oh, I love this guy. He's got tons of credit. He's using it all. Here's a $20,000 credit limit with Marriott. And that's exactly how the process works. Look, this is how our clients are getting $20,000 limits and higher 60 to 90 days in the process following these exact same steps. Now, let's get, hey, Michael Wood is coming in the house. Thank you very much for coming in, saying hello. Verby Nick says, Verby from California at Nature's Ranch LLC. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Verby. And Dave says, hey, I'm in tier 4 of the business credit builder of the credit suite program, but getting, okay, so let's talk about what causes you to get denied. Okay, so we talked about before, we got 2 people on here that say, I am getting denied. What is causing the denial? There's 2 things that cause the denial. 1, your fundability is jacked up. You just keep skipping over it. No matter how much I mention it, you're like, I know you mentioned that stuff, but I'm good. But are you good? So go back to the beginning of this training where I said, go do these checks on fundability and make sure that every single thing I've told you is spot on correct. You have a separate address for the business, phone number, website, email address. You have a license for the business. When you're applying for credit, you're supplying the actual license for you. You have that business bank account. Make sure that that is done. Okay, now, the second reason that business owners get denied is because you are applying for credit you cannot yet get. Okay, that is the other thing that slows down this process because you get more denials than approvals. And this happens because you're applying out of order. So Credit Suite, over a decade ago, we invented what's called a tiering system. The tiering system says, these sources will approve you now, these won't. Apply for these. Now these ones will approve you. Now these ones will approve you. Now these ones. So here's how it works. Staples, for example, may want you to have 5 accounts on your business credit report, but Office Depot may want you to have 8. So if you go to Office Depot when you only have 5, you get denied. But if you go to Staples, you get approved. Now, you might not know why you're getting denied, but that's why. You don't have enough credit reporting yet to get to the actual approval that credit issuer, or the minimum number of trade lines that credit issuer has to approve you. These 2 things account for 99% of all business credit denials. So if you are getting denied, one of the 2 things you're doing wrong, guaranteed, is you are missing the mark on fundability. You have not set up your fundability correctly. And the second thing is you're applying for credit you cannot yet get. Which brings me back to the question initially, how do I get an auto loan using business credit? Simple. You follow the steps I've told you, and you have 14 accounts on your business credit reports. If you pull your business credit reports and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 14, then you can get auto financing. GM, Toyota, Ally Bank, Ford. If you've done these steps exactly as I have laid out, then with 14 accounts in your business credit reports, you are now getting auto financing, and you're now getting Visa card, MasterCard, American Express without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. Okay, this is the state. This is the end. It's it. People say, how long does it take to build business credit? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. It never stops. Like consumer credit, you never stop getting credit, right? But you can get to the final tier of business credit building. Our clients get there 4 to 6 months into the process. If you're doing this on your own, you're probably going to take years because you probably made a mistake that I just told you not to make. So the 2 things that will get you denied, your fundability is wrong. Something is wrong with fundability. Number 2, you don't have enough accounts yet to apply for that thing. You're trying to go get Ally Financial in a credit line, and you've only got 9 accounts or 10 accounts. Now, let me tell you what happens when you get this right. Okay, we've had 2 clients that come to mind, or off the top of my head. One got $185,000 in financing. No personal guarantee or credit check from Ford. Another got $365,000, $335,000, $365,000. I can't remember. It's either $335,000 or $365,000 in auto financing, again, without a guarantee or credit check. This guy was really interesting because he went into Ford to finance a vehicle. They approved him for nearly $350,000 in financing. The finance manager said, I've never seen this before. He got approved without a guarantee, without a credit check. He's my partner. He's our partner at Credit Suite. We put him in the business of offering business credit. He got the finance manager as a client because the finance manager was so shocked that he'd never seen an approval like this before. And the guy got approved for so much money, he said, I'm launching a Turo business. He literally used the financing to launch a Turo business, which he didn't even intend on launching. But when he saw how much money Ford had approved him for, he decided to buy a fleet of vehicles and create a whole business, creating a rental car business using this kind of financing. That's how powerful business credit can be. We've got clients with individual credit lines of $300,000 at the vendors they use the most. We've got credit cards at places like Best Buy and other major retailers that are $50,000 limits. And to get to all of those places, all you have to do is every single thing I said here. If you followed my steps and my tips, like use the credit you're given, okay, get credit that actually reports. If you followed the steps and advice I've given you, then you will make it to the end of this process. Maybe not as fast as our clients do in 4 to 6 months, but you'll make it to way, way, way faster than if you're trying to do this without this advice. And by the way, I'm not trying to self-promote, but I'll tell you, I wrote the best-selling book on business credit over 12 years ago. It's how long I've been in this game. I'm known as the GOAT, the grandfather, all kinds of crazy terms from the people that are in the industry now. And I can tell you this, that if you want experts to help you, it is way faster in this and everything else than on your own. So if Credit Suite can help you along the way, let us know. Like, we've got a free finance assessment where we'll actually walk you through and give you individualized, personalized advice on how to actually build business credit so you can get even faster results. So if you want this, just scan the QR code. We'll tell you what's wrong with your fundability. We'll do a lender check and tell you what's wrong. We'll give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. We'll even qualify you for financing on the assessment call. A lot of our clients walk away with the funding approvals. They're like, I didn't even go to get approved. I just went for tips on building business credit and I walked away with a $50,000 credit line. That happens on our finance assessment. It's 100% for free. You can check it out right here by scanning the QR code or going to creditsuite.com/consult. That is it. Those are the exact steps to take to build business credit fast for your company. If you missed any part of this, go back and watch it from the beginning on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on whatever platform you're actually coming in and tuning in from. Now, I want to make sure that I got everybody's questions answered here. Okay, so Michael Wood says, hey, change EIN good or not? Okay, it depends on what your problem is. So, I think you're talking to Chad, maybe not me, but I don't know exactly what you're asking about because, again, do you change your EIN? There's no reason to ever change your EIN. Once you set it up, you probably want to leave it, maybe set up a new business, but I wouldn't suggest changing your EIN for any business you have. Hopefully, Michael, that addresses your question. So there you have it. Look, at Credit Suite, we help you improve your fundability, build business credit, get financing. So if we can help you along the way, like look us up, creditsuite.com. We are here to help. And don't forget, creditsuite.com/consult. Our team will give you tips and tactics that are personalized to you and your business to help you as well. You can get those at creditsuite.com/consult. Did you get value? If you got value from this, punch the like button, punch the subscribe button, and I will see you next time where we talk about more cool ways to get to